Hey, everybody. Welcome to yet another episode of Dayton Drama Queens.
Back.
Season 2. And this is our second time on this beautiful new studio.
Plush chairs.
It's fantastic.
I mean, what do we do to deserve it?
It's so good to see you, Philip.
Great to see you too.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm hanging in there.
We
How
had
are
an
you?
interesting breakfast. Tell me where we ate breakfast this morning.
The Arden Hotel.
Yes, right downtown. The new hotel that is somewhat by the Schuster.
Yeah, it's like right across the street from Victoria Theater. And
Yes.
Great wait staff, good eggs.
Yeah, it's a beautiful facility.
Apple butter.
Apple butter. So make sure you check it out.
You should.
Listen, we have a great segment today. We're here with Jes McMillan of Mosaic Institute. So glad to have you. So much to know about you. Tell us, first of all, where are you from? How'd you get to Dayton?
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
Very excited to be here. I was born in Columbus,
Okay. Yeah.
right downtown, University Hospital.
Wow.
My mom was 14.
Wow.
And so my grandmother moved us to Dayton.
Okay.
So from just a baby,
Yeah.
I've been in Dayton, so I've grown up in the area. I love the city. I visit Columbus, stayed there for some summers growing up, but Dayton is my home.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
What
great.
do you love about this city? Because people, every time we ask that question, we get completely different answers. What do you love about Dayton?
Yeah, I love that it is little big enough. It's
Yes.
got one of everything and it's just the best.
Yes, it is.
It's also, as a mover, shaker, entrepreneur kind of person, it's 1 degree of separation. So if you don't know the person, you know somebody who knows the person.
That's true.
And so with that, you have infinite possibilities on just what you can build and create and business partners and opportunities. And so it's just really a magical place with a magical energy.
Yeah.
You're right.
Agreed.
Yes. How did you get started in art, mosaics? How did that, it's such a small kind of piece of the big art world. How did you ever get started in the mosaic pieces and all that good stuff?
It is. Mosaic art process, very historic, but in this area is more rare. When you are getting closer to the coasts and there's more swimming pools and tiling in people's houses, you have more mosaicists.
Okay.
So here in Dayton, that art form is a little bit more rare, which has given me, a bit of an edge in the public art realm. But, going back many years, actually, we moved quite a bit around Dayton. I've gone to probably, I think, over a dozen different schools.
Wow.
So we ended
That's a lot
up
of
in
moving.
Franklin,
Yeah.
down south, and I learned the art of mosaic when I was 16 from my high school art teacher.
Okay.
Really?
It just clicked with me. I think it's the puzzling, the little technical piece by piece building of this beautiful picture, and then glass. My goodness, there's nothing more beautiful
Yeah.
out there. So I got to, play with these beautiful mediums and create these mosaics. I just fell in love with the art form, and I've been doing it ever since.
Wow.
What's the process like creating something like that? Like, does it start, obviously it starts in your brain, but then do you have to kind of put it on paper and then it moves? I mean, what's that like?
Sometimes, a lot of time in the studio, we do print or draw things out ahead of time. And then that is kind of like a map that we follow, especially with our larger scale pieces. You kind of blow it up to the size that you want to create. With the smaller commissions, sometimes there's drawing on the boards and then placing glass on top of that. The mosaic takes a long time to make, so there's several sessions with it. So you might start out on the dress, and by the time you get to the hair, you've had a breakup and you went through a couple jobs, and now here you are with a more life experience as an artist to put in the hair. And so it's really the artist's energy, and it is a longer process, and so it kind of develops over time. I can see, the idea being the finished mosaic. And when we lead the mosaics with the people in the community, they don't necessarily have the ability to see that yet. And so it's always so much fun for me to know, have a great idea what the final outcome is going to be that we're leading people to achieve. And so there's that special just energy and that of excitement and just kind of bringing them to that moment of realizing, the amazing thing that they've been able to create.
Yeah, that's so cool. Especially people that, I'm in the arts, but as far as a visual artist, I've just never really had that. So to be able to kind of be a part of that and say like, I helped. I mean, that must be so cool to watch people have that feeling.
Yes, it's one of my favorite parts for sure.
Yeah.
Is there like a group of mosaic artists? And does that have a name, or are they just a mosaic artist? You know what I'm saying?
We are mosaicists.
Mosaicists.
That is what type of artists we are.
Okay.
And there are several in the area.
Oh, really?
Beth Holyoke, who is out in Yellow Springs, you see the sign going into town.
do.
She does a lot of ceramic pieces and then puts those into her mosaic. So
Okay.
she's making the pieces that she's putting into her overall mosaics, and she has some trash cans in town that are covered with some beautiful possums and different things.
Seen 'em, yeah.
And so she's been in that area for a while, but there is Noah Fowler. He is an amazing mosaicist that does a lot of glass on glass, so light shines through his pieces. And so there are a few, I wouldn't say several, but there are some of us in town that create mosaics out of different mediums and things. And I think one day with the Mosaic Institute, I'd love to have a gallery that could specialize in showcasing the mosaic art.
Yeah.
And we're so close to, Chicago has a mosaic art school, and they're bringing mosaics in from around the world, like 12th generation mosaicists. And that would be easy to snag them, as they're going by to Chicago, to bring them to the Mosaic Institute here so that we can learn more about this
Absolutely.
ancient art form and from other artists.
Wow, that's amazing. I think about I've seen mosaics around town that you have done, and I always think about it's inspiring. Like little kids is what I think about when they see that. I'm sure they're like, how do you put this puzzle together? Do you ever work with like kids on these kind of projects, or is it mostly adults that show up to do mosaics?
We work with everybody.
Okay.
One of the most beautiful things we do is we're very mobile. So we go out into communities everywhere. We're showing up at VFWs, churches, libraries, anywhere that we can set up for the public to access us, especially public that would not have an opportunity to access us, like coming downtown or, wherever we might be. And so we founded in Miamisburg. We are 10 years old this year. And so 10
Congrats.
years ago, thank you, very exciting.
Yeah, that's great.
10 years ago in Miamisburg, we started out giving mosaics away. And that's because, a large part of that was, what is a mosaic?
Right.
How does this work?
Yeah.
And so we kind of had to teach you, hey, this is a mosaic and this is the process for creation. Look, everybody can do it together. It's this wonderful thing. So we spent about 3 years in Miamisburg before we made the move to Dayton, before we were big enough to come into the big little city. So in those 3 years, we did a mosaic with every public school in Miamisburg City. And so over a 3-year period, all of their children got to experience what a mosaic is and take part in the creation
That's
of
so
one.
cool.
Which is very exciting because our first public art installs that went in the sidewalk are in Miamisburg. And so those are legacy pieces. We know it's an ancient art form. They last for centuries as long as they're taken care of. And so with these pieces, they'll outlive us all. And I feel like that's an important, concept to teach our youth who will be taking care of these mosaics
Absolutely.
and enjoying them one day, what they are and why we made them. So we still work with kids. We go into elementary schools quite a bit. There's a week-long program where we set up in the art room and every child cycles through on their special and puts a piece in there. All the lunch ladies, administrative staff, by the end of 1 week, every single person on that school team unifies to create a piece, and it hangs in the hallway and everybody gets to enjoy it.
That's so great.
That's
I feel like
amazing.
it teaches people appreciation too, because it's so easy to walk by something and maybe appreciate the beauty, but not really think, someone or some people did this. I mean, they did that with their hands and their time, and I just like, if nothing else, letting people walk away with that appreciation.
It is. It feels great. The overall message is unity. The mosaic is the physical representation of thousands of pieces coming together to make one big beautiful picture.
Yeah.
And so the message kind of changes with the people we're working with. So for kids, it's every piece is different shape, different size, different color, all absolutely necessary each to make this big, beautiful picture. And when they see this, they also know what we can do when we work together.
Yeah.
We can all make a little mosaic and it's beautiful. We work together, we can cover this whole wall and make this giant, beautiful piece that inspires everyone.
What a great metaphor for life.
For everything, it is.
For everything.
Yes.
Have you
Truly.
spent time over in Europe seeing the old mosaics?
I have not. I have really wanted to go for the Individual Artists Award from Culture Works to help me go to Turkey.
Oh, yeah.
Istanbul would be my number one
Okay, yeah.
choice, and there I can take a traditional Islamic mosaic class and a Greek Roman mosaic class, and those are the teachers that have been doing mosaics. Their dad was doing mosaics, his dad was doing mosaics, so it's really exciting, and they have tons of mosaics there to see.
Yeah.
So I would definitely.
I remember
Go there.
we were in Pompeii, and I remember you'd see these things and just think somebody literally took that little piece and put that there intentionally. And here we are all this time later. And that brings me to the Oregon District,
Yes.
that beautiful project. How did that all transpire? Because we were down there the other night and I thought, this is thousands.
Yes.
I don't really know what I'm talking about. This is thousands
Yes,
of pieces
many
brought
thousands.
together to
Billions
make
of pieces.
I have no idea. But
my
how
gosh,
did that
it
come
could be.
together? And what a beautiful memorial, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. That was a big project, definitely our biggest project. Over 5,000 people put pieces in that
Oh
mosaic.
my gosh.
We created it over between 7-8 months of production for that piece. It was very difficult.
Yeah.
It was more of a healing process, and so mosaic is a lot of fun and it's beautiful, but sometimes we call people to the table to place pieces for a reason. And for this project, we were really trying to give people a chance to physically do something to promote healing of some kind. We answered a call that Dayton put out for a memorial for the Oregon District shooting in 2019. And we were a team of 4 artists, architect Terry Welker, poet Sierra Leone, fine artist James Pate, and me, Jes McMillan, mosaicist. And so the 4 of us worked together in the downtown library for months to come up with a design that we felt would, one, be timeless and even more relevant. The sacred geometry, I feel, is going to be even more relevant as we transition into the future and spirituality shifts and people can be more free, hopefully.
Yeah.
And we can come to a better place. And so more of those things may be relevant. And so we wanted it to be timeless, and we wanted it to be more of a simple design that people could just walk up and be a part of and put pieces in. And so more about the focus on creation than this big elaborate design that would be too complicated for people
Right.
to create.
Yeah.
And so we went through the process of applying, we gave pitches, and we won, which is very exciting. Every one of us are Daytonians and every one of us are community artists. So each of us 4 have our own avenues of dedication to serving people in the city. And so it was just a dream team coming together. Terry is an amazing architect. He has Fractal Rain in the downtown library, which is an amazing piece.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
And so he was our leader and just kind of helped us work through this huge project. For the Mosaic Institute, our part was leading the mosaic and then installing that. There were many different components of this piece. You know, there's the metal rings, the sculpture, the poetry. And so each of us were working on our respective parts. And I think, when we put out the call, hey, come place a piece in the mosaic, put your grief in here and come and, we want to promote some healing. And so we would play 528 frequency when people came in. We use frequency a lot to help people soften and their energy gets better. And then we can introduce them to the mosaic process, especially if it is a healing project. And so we didn't really know what we were getting into, I think, when we said, come and, put your grief into a mosaic. And so it was a very difficult 7 months. We popped up out in the community about 40 times and then in the downtown library another 40 times. So we tried to give as many people that we possibly could the opportunity to meet us and put a piece in. And we had interacted with survivors, parents, and just many, many community members feeling everything, a wide variety of every emotion you can think of. And so,
and it's packed with that emotion.
It really
when you're
is.
there, you feel what went into that piece of art. It's just, it's astounding, actually.
It was an amazing learning experience to facilitate that, not only about grief and how beautiful and binding it really is. We experience it from birth when we are separated from our, from the womb. And then life is filled with a lot of it, but we find that on the other side of some of our most intense grieving moments, we can become our best selves and learn and really learn how to love ourselves, hopefully, you know. So I think another odd experience for me too is just being an artist, an entrepreneur, and working with everybody in town, and doing this and doing that. Sometimes you might rub shoulders with this person or that person, and it just happens. And in this, capacity, for the first time, I sat at the table not as somebody from Dayton who knows people. It was somebody who was there to facilitate this process. And so I would say that transcended everything else for the first time in my career. And so people that I might had a disagreement, here we are embracing one another for healing, placing pieces. And so that really created a big shift for me at the way I look about my public service and who I am here and what I'm supposed to be doing, what my mission is.
It's there. When you see it, it's there. You know what I mean? All of that is part of that. So amazing.
Sometimes you feel so helpless when these things happen. It's, whether it's local or national or global, what can I do? Where do I put this emotion? And to be able to facilitate something that says, I can give you somewhere to put that has got to just feel amazing.
It is. And I really hope that, PBS did a great special on it. And I hope that the rest of the world can see how a city came together to create a memorial. Artists create memorials all over. All over the world. But this one was one that the people made. And that makes it special.
So what projects now? Do you have going on? What's going on right now?
We are coming in to install on, not as big as the memorial, but this one is a vertical wall. It is about 250 square foot, half the size of the memorial. It is going up at Allwood Autobahn. It is filled with birds, bugs, all kinds of beautiful things. And for the first time, we'll be using a new tile that we made called Mosaic.
Ooh.
It is an exact replica of our porcelain, and so it goes right into our process. And these tiles soak in UV during the day, and they glow at night.
I was hoping you were gonna say that. I know that's
That is
so
so
cool.
I believe it is our future. We made some samples. We are trying to connect with the Great Miami Riverway to try to get it near the bike path to create this luminary experience that no one else has. So I'm really excited for Dayton and the future of Mosaic. And it's looking really exciting.
That's cool. If we want to join you or learn from you, how do we find out all this information? Where do we find you?
Yeah, I would say Facebook is probably the best to follow the Mosaic Institute on Facebook, because when we are popping up in the community, if we're at this festival, if we're tagging on to this event, whatever opportunity we might have for engagement, whatever opportunity we might have for volunteering or just to come and hang out and party with us, everything is usually
So
on
if people are like, I don't feel like I am very artistically inclined, I can come and help out, but maybe not participate. Like that's an option.
Yes.
I can drink a beer and say, good job.
You can. Beer is great with Mosaic.
Perfect.
We have, it's true. We've got the South Park Lady Mosaic in South Park up by the gazebo, and that was created in the bars in South Park
I love
by
that.
people just hanging out. And so
That is awesome.
on our website, you can find our projects that we've done. We have over 30 permanent public installs in the area, which is exciting. I think the more we have, the more people might come to the area to experience their interactive games. A lot of them have components, so there's maps of all that. And for those that want to join in the creation of all that stuff that may not feel artistic, it really is. You should try it. It's a great process. Literally, anybody from 1 to 99 years old. It's about picking up a piece here, putting it down over here, and then that equates to this giant, beautiful piece that you know, any ages, any ability. Anybody can join in these. And the color map is underneath. So with the collaborative projects, we really try to, you know, the color matches the tile, so you know where it goes. And then a lot of times we are holding the glue, which we call the scepter of power. And that really controls the speed of things. And so it's just so easy to participate in. And you feel so good about it. So everyone should try it.
Cool.
You heard it. Everyone should try it.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Jess, for being here.
Yes, thank
this has
you.
been amazing. I actually feel like I learned
so
a ton
much
today.
I know.
Wonderful.
So thank you for coming with us today. And don't forget, Boys and Girls Square One is our major sponsor. We'll see you in our next big podcast. Again, great, Jess. We can't wait to see the next Mosaic.
So excited.
We'll see you all in the next episode of Dayton Drama Queens.
See you then.
Bye-bye, everyone.